Alright guys, here we go. So it is 9:11 a.m. right now. I've posted the list of things we're watching. It's a Friday, so be very careful with what you tread on. It's been a pretty red week ever since the week began, for the most part, with crypto sinking and then a bunch of stocks not really doing that well. So SPY and QQQ were both kind of sinking. One of the things I wanted to start off with is this list of stocks, right? We've been watching all of these guys ever since last week, actually. And earlier last week, I was telling you guys that I'm going to buy, just for sampling purposes, I'm going to buy 5 shares of KPLT just to show you guys how you're supposed to make money off of it. You would obviously buy a lot more. You may buy, 100, 1,000, whatever you can afford, whatever you're interested in doing. And then you see I bought 5 shares, and I told you guys I like to trim by the 20-cent rule for the most part. So I bought him at 31.90, and instead of putting a sell order to sell it at, I bought it at 6.38, right? 5 shares at $6.38 each, and then I listed them for sell. I had a limit sell order placed to sell them at 6.58, 20 cents higher, right? If it moves up by 20 cents, I wanted to sell it. But I only bought 5 shares. Had you bought 100 shares, you would trim it. You would maybe put a limit sell order to sell 20 of them at 6.58. or 40 of them at 6.58, and then depending on the price ranges you're assuming this is going to go to, listed at different prices, right? So if you think that buying it at 6.38 it only has space to go up to 7, right, then you want to sell half of it, 50 of the stocks that you bought. Let's assume you bought 100, 50 of the stocks you bought at a 20-cent increment, right? Get your profits, claim your profits, take what you're getting, and then let some of it run on. You would submit another sell order where you would sell maybe 20 more or 25 more at 6.88 maybe, right? Or 6.78, whatever you think, how powerful is the stock looking. Have these limit sells there, so as the stock starts ascending, it starts submitting those sell orders, you start getting your notifications, and you start knowing where things are going. It's a great way to make things happen. This play did everything by itself. All I had to do was buy and submit a limit sell, and it was done, right? I only bought 5 shares because I didn't have much money available, since I put too much of it into the crypto that I was hoping would keep going up. So now I'm just holding on to a bunch of Dogecoin and Litecoin, but I still do have funding available for day trading stocks. However, the money that I have available for day trading stocks, if I put it into the stock, then the money is going to stay in the stock until it sells, right? But you see, KPLT, it didn't even take too long. Within pretty much the same day, I believe the sell order actually filled the next day. Yeah. Oh no, actually the same day, pretty much, right? By the end of the day after market. So it's just something that happens. There's a lot of these guys that have been moving pretty well over the last 2 weeks, right? They've been just going up and then coming back down, going up and coming back down. You can see that action happening. So when you do buy it, you want to submit that sell order for a 20 to 25 cent increment and just get rid of either all of it or a portion of it, depending on how many you bought, right? It's been pretty fun with them, to be honest. Even today, look, BBIG is up again. Every time it comes closer to 10, you buy more of it. If it goes even below to 8, you buy a bunch of it. It's just something that has been doing constantly, right? And it is on a very nice upward trend, indicating that it could eventually keep going and do what support.com did and just bust out all the way to 50, right? So those are some of the plays that have been kicking ass. I put out the list of all the stocks that we're watching today. So Square, PayPal, Peloton, Microsoft, Tesla. I'm also going to be keeping an eye on AMD and SPY and QQQ as always, just to see if any of those puts are going to kick in. Right now, looking at the way things are looking, crypto is continuing to sink down, right? But it's not like crazy sinking. I would be much more terrified if this keeps going and Bitcoin starts to fall below 44K. And that's a little unstable, instability. At which point, of course, as always, all you can do is just buy it when it hits bottom. I buy much more of it when it hits bottom. So whatever money I have sitting in here will just continue sitting in here until I'm ready to buy again, or until it booms and I'm ready to sell and scalp. A couple of news things that have been happening were a big play from Amazon, right? Amazon is saying they're going to pay for your bachelor's, they're going to pay for a couple other education related things. It's a good move on their behalf to get more employees to sign up and I guess get a better image for themselves because they're not really known for treating their employees well, which, you know, I'm going to call a little bullshit on. Like, no one's forcing you to work there, so don't. But yeah, that's something that they did, so that definitely helped them. PayPal had acquired Payly and gone up, but then ever since that day, it's just been sinking. Right, this morning, for now, up to 9:17 a.m., a lot of these things are looking nice and green. They're either starting above the dash line, which means they're starting above where they were yesterday, or they're on the way to being above the dash line. Right, a lot of these are still looking green here. EA is looking red. Upstart is red here. You know, it'd be great to see things going back to green again because whatever happened that caused the issues kind of started right around the time where El Salvador basically completely adapted Bitcoin, you know. And because so many things were red all of a sudden after that day, it did really feel like an inside play. But honestly, right now, looking at the list of my power stocks, almost everything is green. Almost everything is green for now, right? Not many of these are red. I mean, coming down, we see OKTA, EA, Upstart, and look at how far I have to go again. McDonald's, which is red almost every other day, and that's really it. We only see 4 out of the almost 50 to 52 power stocks I have here looking red, right? So that's a pretty promising day, and which is why you can see SPY started pretty high above the dash line. Right? SPY made a pretty strong recovery to all the loss it had yesterday. So anyone that was swinging SPY calls into today, if you picked up calls, you know, I've always said this. Any day SPY is ending on a bad note, right? Like, look at, for example, this day right here, which was basically yesterday. SPY ended on a really bad note, right? It's usually safe to pick up and don't go too heavy. Pick up a few calls for the next day because then SPY often tends to recover pretty well the next day. You'll either break even or you'll have a boom, you know, a bust out. Where today it looks like it'll continue going up, and I'm probably going to try playing some SPY and QQQ calls because they're both doing a good job recovering, right? Because as you just saw as we went through our power stocks, everything is green. Everything is green and looking good. And so it's looking like a pretty safe day to possibly grab some calls on AMD, NVIDIA, Apple. You know, Apple's back to 154. You could probably play it up to like 155.50, maybe even 156. Costco, I'm not really a fan of. So remember, trading some options on Fridays are not exactly fun. I probably won't get anything today besides buying QQQ because by Friday, most of these options start looking significantly more expensive. So you got to be really careful with that. But, you know, as the day goes on, just keep an eye on this list. If you haven't already created your power stocks list, you want to make sure you do that, right? I show it to you guys right here. Just create your own power stocks list, just like I have it here. Create a list of stocks you like to trade every day, or stocks you want to at least look at every day, like I have all these tabs open, right? On my TD Ameritrade, the small account that I'm trying to bust up, I've picked up ENDP and SOS. I grabbed both of them just this morning at around, I think, 8 a.m. pre-market because they both exploded. They both went up big time. So ENDP, I picked up 1,000 shares at $2.50 average price. And SOS, I picked up 1,000 shares at $2.98, so basically $3 price. And I have a limit sell to trim both of them, just like we were talking about earlier. Half of them. I'm going to sell half of both of them at the 30-cent increment mark. That's what I submitted, right? So I want to sell half of my ENDP at $2.80 if it makes it there, and I want to sell half my SOS if it makes it to. For SOS, I actually listed it for $3.50, so 50-cent increment. Because I've seen SOS, we've all seen SOS way back in the day bust up to $12, right? So, you know, anything can happen if it's being pumped, and I want to get rid of half of it at $3.50. There's a chance it might get to $3.50, then come back down again, at which point I would buy back in as soon as I can at any price below that $3.50, right? The goal is to take profits and retain profits, right? Don't invest more than you've already profited off of the stock, because then you're just going to go into the red and you no longer profited off the stock, which always sucks. So that's kind of what we're looking at here on my small account. Other than that, there's really not much else to kind of look at right now. Let me just look at the other small account I have here. I have a small Robinhood account and a small TD Ameritrade account and a small webull account. All three of which my goal is to make it to 25K. All three started with just $1,000 in them. So it's something I'm doing just for the fun of it, really. And if I can get all three of those accounts to reach those different prices, reach the volume of, not the volume, the value of being $25,000 each, then they would all become day trading accounts, and I would have even more successfully proven to myself that I'm able to actually grow that money in that manner. The other purpose of having three different accounts is also that I can trade different stocks on different ones, right? Because you only get 3 day trades per account if you don't have $25,000 of assets or more in there. But again, watching all of this, AMC didn't quite make the bust out we were hoping it would. As a clove is down big time. Usually when it's down like this is kind of when you want to pick it up. If I was looking to put money into this, I would pick this up right here around the 915, 920 range. Maybe grab like 100 of it, and then have a sell order ready to sell half of it at like 930, 935, something like that. You want to make the profits in cents, but you want to have volume of like 100 to 1,000 of that share if you can. And that's where the money comes in, because one stock is only going to be going up a couple cents, but if you have enough copies of the stock, then you would be making a lot. Here we got to see this week that support, after falling and falling and falling like crazy from its big spike up to 50, it did bounce back up from 20, right? So the lowest it hit was like almost, around the $18 range, and then it went back up. I went back up to here, 25.74. It hit 27, and then it's falling again today. Want to see what it does. It's too expensive for me to try to grab any copies of it right now, but I've had my fun with it, and I did get to ride it up to 50, so that was pretty nice. Still continuing watching it, no big deal. SNMP came back down again from reaching like 123 area. It's literally a $1 stock. It's something you could grab a bunch of. They work with oil and natural gas acquisition, so if you're in that niche, if you're trying that, you can definitely go for it. ORPH, I just like to keep an eye on. I've been watching it dwindling over here for the longest time, right? Ever since it died back down. It was one of the most miraculous stocks of this year that it went up 1,000% in the same freaking day. Literally the same day, it got halted like 15 to 20 times. And ORPH has just been a crazy stock. It was pretty fun watching what it did on the day that it did it. Same thing for SGOC. It was another one of the miraculous stocks of this year that went up like crazy on one day with multiple halts. So these are guys I continue watching because they're at bare minimums, and eventually they're going to hit a minimum point that I can pick them up at. It would have been great to pick them up right here at the $4 price, but I missed it. I didn't get a chance to grab it at the 430 region. Now it's at the $7 region. I would keep an eye on it just to see if it goes back to the $4 region, and I'll grab a bunch of it right there. So that's why I have this open. Every time I come to this tab, I remember that I want to buy this at $4. Right? That's something I'm basically studying by looking at it every day. FCUV looking pretty good this morning, but this is just what it's been doing lately, right? It just keeps dwindling. So you get to see that it's a nice idea to buy it anytime when it's near 13 and sell it anytime it's near 15. Right? You can keep playing it for $2 plays between 13 and 15 pretty much every day. But again, if you bought it during its IPO moment, then yes, you profited big time. Right, 4x. It just busted out like crazy soon after its IPO. So IPOs are fun because you never know which one is going to get pumped up like crazy, because that's just what happens, right? And yeah, that's pretty much all there is for now. Looking back at our power stocks, let's just see how they've continued doing as we approach closer to our opening. Market opening is looking pretty green. Yeah, everything is green. There's even Upstart is about to become green. It's curling back up. Yeah, so that's pretty good news. It's good to see the market coming back up again. It should be pretty easy to just grab a SPY and QQQ, calls on either one of them, and just play the market rather than playing a specific stock. Just because it's a Friday. On Fridays, just most options are too expensive and things fluctuate in weird manners, so it's never really the safest place. But do what you want. We can already see MU, Nvidia, Apple, and SPY, and QComp. They're all green, which are all related to QQQ. So you can easily go for it. MicroStrategy is also green, which is related to QQQ. So it's going to be a pretty good QQQ day. MicroStrategy only usually goes up due to two reasons: either because it's a green market and QQQ is going up with it, or because Bitcoin went up and they have a bunch of Bitcoin, so their value goes up too. But that's pretty much all there is to this morning. I'm gonna head off real quick, make some coffee, and then I'm just gonna be spending some time from my sofa trading on my phone. I've been having a great time using the Fold because it's such a fun phone. You can do split screen trading, and you can have like your Discord stuff open on one half of the screen and your stocks open on another half of the screen. So literally, like, you can look at everything at the same time on the two halves of the screen, and it's really fun, right? So I've been having a great time just trading on my phone. If you just open only one thing, then you have the whole screen to work with because it is pretty much a sexy tablet at that point. So I'm going to go downstairs now. Good luck with your trades today, and then best of luck with everything else. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday.